The battlefield of Targon 7 was full of smoke, fire, and death. Alien ships flew over the broken land, dropping bombs and energy blasts. The ground shook with every explosion. Soldiers, both human and alien, fought with all their strength. But many had already fallen. In the middle of this chaos, a small medical tent stood hidden behind rocks. Inside, a young woman moved fast between the wounded. Her name was Dr. Ilara Voss, a human medic, only 28 years old. She had short black hair tied back, dark circles under her eyes, and blood on her hands, most of it not her own. She had worked for over 30 hours straight. Her tools were basic, her supplies low, but her hands never stopped. A tall alien commander entered the tent. He was covered in armor, with blue-green skin and glowing eyes. His name was General Corinne of the Thylax race. He looked at Ilara with a sneer. Another human trying to play doctor. How many did you actually save, medic? Ilara didn't look up. 7 soldiers stabilized. 3 critical, 2 dying. I'm working. The general laughed. You humans are weak. No Regan tech, no limb restoration. Your medicine is outdated. You should leave this to the professionals. Ilara finally looked at him. Her face was calm, her voice soft. Then why are your wounded soldiers in my tent? General. Corin had no answer. He turned and left, still laughing. No one respected Ilara. She was human. And in this galaxy, humans were seen as primitive, soft-hearted, and behind in science. Other species had advanced tech, instant bone healing, cybernetic organs, DNA recovery. Humans still used blood transfusions, surgical blades, and stitches. But what no one knew was that Ilara was working on something very different. That night, when the tent was empty and the battlefield quiet, Ilara pulled a black case from under a metal bed. She locked the door and turned off the outside signals. Inside the case were strange tools, small vials glowing with red-blue light and a data chip. This was her secret project, hidden even from the human command. She placed a dead soldier on the table. Private John Murek, killed 3 hours ago by plasma fire. No heartbeat, no brain signals. Officially he was gone. Ilara connected wires to his skull. She injected a glowing serum into his neck. Her hands trembled, but her eyes stayed focused. Come on, John, she whispered. Let this work. 5 minutes, nothing happened. Then, a beep, a faint pulse. John's chest moved once, then twice. His eyes opened slowly. Where am I? Ilara's heart pounded. It worked. Her technique worked. This was not just medicine. It was something between biology and resurrection. She had created a process that could bring back the recently dead, with their minds and memories intact. It was not magic. It was a mix of quantum cellular repair, memory echo recovery, and neural spark stimulation. A method she had built from scratch using stolen data, lost human theories, and alien energy science. But it was dangerous. The Galactic Medical Code had one golden rule: the dead must remain dead. Reviving the dead was seen as unnatural, illegal, and possibly threatening to all sentient life. Ilara knew the risks, but she didn't care, because John Marek was alive again. The next day, she kept John hidden. His body was weak, but his mind was clear. I remember everything, he said. The battle, my death, even the feeling of nothing, then light. Ilara took notes. She checked his brain scans. All was stable. She smiled. This can change everything. But outside her tent, rumors were starting to spread. Someone had seen her working late. Someone had noticed the dead soldier wasn't in the body pile anymore. A few whispers reached the higher ranks. A tech drone flew past her tent that evening, too slow, as if observing. Ilara closed her lab tight. She needed to be more careful, but she also needed more data. She took another body, this time. It was not a human, but a phallic soldier. The same species as General Corin. She repeated the process. Slower, more careful. This one took longer, 13 minutes. Then suddenly, the alien's eyes opened wide. He screamed, then gasped, then stared at her. "You brought me back?" Alara nodded. "Yes, tell me your name." "Commander Selm. I died 2 weeks ago in the first wave." 2 weeks? Alara froze. That was longer than her previous test. "Do you remember everything?" "Yes, including secrets, codes, base locations, the General's orders." "That night, Ilara didn't sleep. If the dead could come back with military knowledge, they could expose lies, truths, even betrayals. This wasn't just about healing. It could change the power, structure of the galaxy. But someone else had also realized this. Across the battlefield, in a command ship above, General Corinne received a private message from a spy. The human medic. "She's bringing the dead back." Corinne's face turned cold. "Is it true?" "Yes, I saw one of our soldiers alive again." "One who died weeks ago." Corinne stood slowly. "Send a hunter, quietly, if it's true. She must be taken or destroyed." Back on the ground, Alara worked on perfecting the process. She had now revived 3 humans and 1 alien. Each one was stable. Each one remembered their death. One even gave her information about a failed rescue mission the galaxy believed was successful. Ilara recorded everything. Her secret files were now over 600 pages. But she didn't plan to keep it secret forever. She wanted to prove that humans were not behind. They were ahead. She wanted the galaxy to respect human science. She wanted peace. She wanted change. She never wanted war. But war was coming for her. 3 nights later, her tent was attacked. A stealth unit of unknown species entered silently. They had cloaking devices, no energy signature, and poisoned blades. But Alara had already made a plan. The revived alien Commander Selm fought them off while Alara escaped through a secret tunnel behind the tent. She carried one thing, her black case. Outside, the camp was burning. The attackers didn't care who lived or died. They just wanted her research. Ilara ran to a small shuttle she had hidden in a crater weeks ago. It was old, broken, but still flew. Inside the ship, the revived human John and the Thalax commander. "We're waiting. They're coming for you," said Selm. "For us." Ilara nodded. "Then we go where they can't follow." She started the ship. Engines roared. As they flew up into the dark sky, Ilara looked down one last time at the battlefield. It was full of smoke, fire, and secrets. In the shadows of the stars, the galaxy laughed at human weakness. But now, it would learn to fear what a single human medic could do. Because she had broken the rules. She had touched death, and death had whispered back, "We remember everything." The small shuttle floated in deep space. Its engines were old and noisy, but it kept moving. Inside, Dr. Alara Vos sat at the controls, staring at the stars. Her face was tired, but her eyes were full of fire. She was no longer just a medic. She was now a scientist on the run, carrying a secret that could shake the galaxy. Behind her, 2 revived soldiers sat in silence. John Marek, the human soldier she had brought back from death, watched the stars with a strange look. He remembered dying. He remembered pain. But now he felt something new, a second chance. The other was Commander Selm, a Thalax alien revived after 2 weeks. He had once served under General Corinne, but now his loyalty belonged to Elara. She had done the impossible. She had touched death and brought them back. The ship drifted near an old asteroid field. It was the perfect hiding spot. There was a station nearby, long abandoned. It had no power, no name, and no signal. Just rocks, ice, and silence. Ilara landed the shuttle inside a hidden docking bay. "This is where I set up my first lab," she said quietly. "No one ever found it, not even the humans." They entered the cold, dark corridors. Dust covered everything. Pipes hung from the ceiling. The walls were cracked. Ilara walked ahead with a light. The place looked dead, but she knew how to bring dead things back to life. She connected her power core to the old lab system. Lights flickered, machines hummed. One by one, screens lit up. Her hidden lab was awake again. "This is where it began," she whispered. John looked around. "What do you mean?" Ilara opened a locker. Inside were strange machines, glowing vials, and ancient data chips. "Before the war, I studied memory recovery and brain spark therapy. But the Human Medical Council banned it. They called it dangerous, so I came here and I kept working." She turned to them, her voice firm. "The galaxy fears what it doesn't understand. But now it will have to face the truth." Meanwhile, far away, inside the shining towers of the Galactic Medical Corps, a group of alien scientists watched a report on a large screen. The screen showed a human medic reviving a soldier. It was secret footage, recorded by a spy drone. A gray-skinned being in a white robe, Chief Examiner Tal Rin, narrowed his eyes. "Play it again." The screen repeated the moment. The dead soldier's chest moved. His eyes opened. Tal Rin hissed, "This is forbidden science." A second alien with long tendrils on its face said softly, "She's using cross-species resurrection. The energy signals match quantum soul stitching." Tal Rin stood. "This cannot spread. If she succeeds, death itself becomes a door, not an end. That changes everything." "Should we inform the Senate?" someone asked. "No," Tal Rin sighed. "Not yet. We will send our own people, quietly. If we act too late, the dead will start talking." Back in the hidden lab, Ilara examined her 2 revived test subjects. John's heartbeat was strong. Brain waves were normal, but Commander Selm was different. His reading showed us strange pattern waves that didn't belong to any living soldier. Ilara stared at the screen. This isn't just memory." Selm looked at her. "What do you mean? You have information inside your brain from before you were born." "Impossible," he said. But then, he started speaking a language no one had heard in thousands of years. It wasn't Phalax. It wasn't human. It was ancient. John looked confused. "What's he saying?" Ilara recorded the words. Her software struggled to translate. After minutes, it gave a rough answer. "The stars fell once, and we forgot, but the dead still remember." Selm gasped. He didn't even know what he had said. Ilara backed away from the screen. "Your mind, it connected to something. Something buried deep, some shared memory of the galaxy." Selm stood slowly. "There's more. I see old wars. Empires. I never knew. A city made of light. A weapon made of sound." John frowned. "How can you remember things from before your life?" Ilara answered softly, "Because death isn't the end. It's a gateway, and the mind leaves echoes." That night, as the others slept, Ilara wrote in her journal, "They think resurrection is the miracle, but it's not. The real miracle is memory. The dead do not forget. They carry secrets, even from other lives. We may have just unlocked the mind of the galaxy itself." But she wasn't alone. A small flying camera, no bigger than a coin, floated outside the lab walls. It had been following her since the camp attack. Now, it sent a signal to a hidden ship nearby. On board was a cold-eyed bounty hunter with silver skin, Unit 12X, a cyborg assassin trained to retrieve or destroy rogue knowledge. He received a message: target, human medic, status, reviving the dead, orders, erase. Vex smiled, with pleasure. The next day, Ilara woke early. She ran tests on a new body, an alien scientist who had died from toxin gas. The brain was intact. She used her serum. 10 minutes later, the scientist woke up coughing. He screamed in fear. I saw the black wall. I heard them whispering. "Who?" Ilara asked. The old ones, the voices that watch the galaxy. Ilara paused. This was new. Each subject spoke of strange things, visions, voices, knowledge from nowhere. She recorded everything. Then, suddenly, the lab went dark. Power cut. Sirens blared. The main screen flashed red. Warning, breach detected. Sound grabbed a weapon. John ran to the door. Outside, a shadow moved through the hallway. Ilara turned on her scanner. No heat, no heartbeat. Just cold metal. It's a machine, she said. It's hunting us. They split into two teams. John and Ilara took the wounded. Trying to escape through the south exit. Celan moved to block the hunter. He fired first, but the bullets bounced off Vex's armor. Vex moved fast. Too fast. He struck Seln with a high-energy blade. The alien fell, injured but alive. John arrived and fired with a plasma gun, giving Ilara time to open a secret tunnel. They escaped into the old mines under the station. Inside the dark tunnel, Ilara breathed hard. We can't stay here. He won't stop. John asked, why are they chasing you so hard? It's just medicine, right? Ilara looked at him. No, it's truth. That's what they fear. Truth about what? That death is not the final answer. That memories survive. That people lie, but the dead remember. She held up the recording chip. If this gets out, the Galactic Senate could fall. Because every dead soldier might speak about what really happened. The real wars, the hidden crimes. John looked shocked. That's why they're afraid, Ilara nodded. And why we can't stop now. Above them, Vex entered the lab. He searched everything. He found the revival table. He scanned the blood. Then, he paused. He looked at the revived scientist's brain scans. He uploaded them to his system. His eyes flickered, and for a moment, he froze. Then, very slowly, he whispered to himself, that city of light, I remember that. But I've never been alive. He stared at his hands, at his reflection. What? M1? Deep under the station, Ilara's team reached an old hangar. She had a backup ship, small but fast. Celan joined them, bleeding but smiling. That thing, it was not just a hunter. It was curious. Ilara nodded. It saw something it didn't expect. Maybe the dead aren't the only ones with echoes. They launched the ship. As they flew into deep space again, Ilara looked back. The lab was gone, destroyed, erased, but the data was safe, and the war was just beginning. In the dark corners of the galaxy, whispers began to spread. A human medic is raising the dead speak, and the truth is rising with them. The stars outside the ship were quiet, but inside the small escape shuttle, silence had weight. Heavy, thick, and full of secrets. Dr. Ilara Vos sat in the pilot's seat, staring at her screen. Sweat covered her forehead. Her hands were trembling, not from fear, but from the pressure of what she had just escaped. Her hidden lab was gone, destroyed by the assassin sent to silence her. Vex, the silver-skinned hunter, had almost killed her team, but she had escaped, with her research, and with something much bigger than science. Behind her, John Marek sat checking weapons. Though he had died once, he now felt more alive than ever. His memories of death still haunted him, but he had found purpose again. Beside him was Commander Seln, still healing from his injuries. His mind was full of strange visions. Old cities, ancient voices, alien places no one remembered. He said they came from before history. And now, there was a fourth passenger. Dr. Nera Quill, a scientist Ilara had revived during the lab attack. She was from a peaceful planet called Nerith, and she had died during a bioweapon attack months ago. Now her eyes glowed faint blue. She was not the same woman anymore. She was more. The ship floated toward a forgotten sector of space, Kara's Vale, a dangerous place. Long ago, it was a battleground between ancient empires. Now it was just debris, ghosts, and wreckage. But Alara had a reason to go there. There's something hidden in Kara's Veil, she told her crew. Something the revived ones are remembering. Over and over, a structure. Shaped like a ring. Sel nodded slowly. I see it every time I sleep. Nera added, I remember it too. It's not a place from my life. It's older. Much older. John frowned. But how can dead people remember the same place if they lived in different times, on different planets? Ilara answered, because the memories aren't just theirs. They're echoes. Trapped in the energy of death. She paused. And I think that ring holds the source. As they entered Kara's Veil, their ship passed shattered moons, floating wrecks, and black dust clouds. Radio signals died. Lights flickered. No one lived here. And yet. The revived soldiers recognized it. Even John, who had never left his home. Planet before the war, whispered, I've been here, haven't I? Ilara shivered, or something inside you has. They followed the map built from the memories of the revived. Coordinates pulled from their minds like puzzle pieces. Then they saw it, a massive ring-shaped structure, half buried in asteroid rock. It was not metal, not stone, it was something else. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. That's it, Ilara said. They landed the ship on a flat surface of the ring. The airlock connected. The doors opened. Silence greeted them. No guards. No traps, just ancient walls covered in glowing symbols. Nera stepped forward. I can read this. How? Ilara asked. I don't know. I just can. She placed her hand on the wall. The symbols lit up brighter. A door opened. They entered. Inside, the air was breathable. The structure seemed to adjust itself for them. Lights followed their steps. Seln stared at the walls. This is not a weapon, he said. Then what is it? John asked. Ilara looked around. I think it's a memory vault. In the center was a platform with 7 chairs. Above them, a large dome. Wires, lights, and strange crystals hung like stars. Nera stepped forward. This is where they stored minds. Ilara's eyes widened. What do you mean? Nera touched one of the crystals. It glowed. A voice echoed in the chamber. We failed to guide them. We buried the truth. But now the dead rise. And memory returns. John stepped back, confused. Who said that? Nera whispered. Not a person. A collective. The original keepers of knowledge. They stored voices of the dead. And now they're speaking through us. Suddenly, the crystals flickered wildly. The lights dimmed. A cold voice echoed again. The hunter comes. You must run. The group turned. Outside, a red signal was blinking on the ship. A warning. Ilara ran back to the entrance and checked the ship's scanner. One ship. Fast. No ID. Approaching fast. It's Vex, she said. He followed us here. John loaded his gun. Then we fight. Ilara shook her head. No, we protect the memory vault. Nera stepped forward. I can interface with it. If I stay, I can unlock everything. That's suicide, John snapped. No, it's purpose, Nera said calmly. I died once. I've already been given a gift, let me use it. Ilara looked at her, eyes full of emotion. We'll come back for you, Nera nodded. I'll make sure the truth stays alive. The team ran back to the ship as Vex's vessel landed hard nearby. Blasts shook the ground. Debris flew. Inside the ship, Ilara started the engines. Nera, are you receiving me? Yes, her voice came, calm, focused. Stay hidden, unlock as much as you can. Understood, go now. The ship took off. From the air, they saw Vex enter the structure, but he didn't destroy it. He simply stood still. As if listening. Hours later, in deep space, the crew recovered in silence. Selm sat in a corner, eyes closed. John cleaned his gun, quietly humming. Ilara stared at the data chip in her hand. It now held fragments from the ring. Voices, languages, hidden codes. But something else. 2 coordinates. Not one. But many. Each linked to similar structures across the galaxy. This is just the beginning, Ilara whispered. There are more vaults, Cell nodded. Then we bring back more. We awaken the forgotten. John looked at them both. You're not just reviving people anymore. No, Ilara said. We're reviving history. Meanwhile, back on the ring, Nira sat in the center of the platform. Crystals surrounded her. She wasn't breathing anymore. Her body glowed. She had become a conduit connected directly to the memory field. The voices were louder now. The medic is ready, they whispered. Her kind laughed once. Now they must listen. The dead remember, and truth will rise. Empires will fall. The stars outside looked peaceful, but inside Ilara's ship, there was no peace. Dr. Ilara Vos sat silently, watching the new data from the memory vault. Symbols, maps, and echoes of voices filled the screen. The data was too old for any modern system to fully read. But one thing was clear. There are more vaults, hidden across the galaxy. Commander Seln stood next to her. We woke something. We didn't just open one door. We opened many. John Marek, the revived human soldier, paced behind them. What happens if the wrong people get there first? Ilara didn't answer. She was already thinking 3 steps ahead. The answer was simple. They must not. They docked their ship at a hidden port deep in the asteroid belt of Sector 7C. Known as the Boneyard. It was a lawless place. No government, no order. Only old warships and criminals hiding from their past. Ilara had a contact here. Someone who used to be a war historian. Someone who might understand the ancient language in the memory vaults. His name was Dravek Thorn, a half-machine, half-human ex-professor who lived in the remains of an old dreadnought ship. When they found Dravek, he looked like part of the ship itself. Tubes were attached to his neck. His eyes flickered with digital light. Well, he said with a metallic laugh. Ilara Vos, the medic who brought back the dead. Ilara stepped forward. I need you to translate this. She handed him a small data disk from the vault. Dravek placed it into his arm port. Lights blinked. Then his eyes widened. This is not just memory. It's history, real history, from before the Empire. Before humans even walked on Earth. Can you read it? Some parts, Dravek said slowly. But be careful. Some truths were buried for a reason. While Dravek decoded the disk, John walked around the broken ship's halls. He saw strange markings on the walls, bones, names of forgotten battles. He paused at one room. It was dark, silent, but then he heard a whisper, John. He turned, weapon ready. No one was there. John, you were not supposed to return. The voice was inside his mind, cold, familiar. Suddenly, images hit him, memories not his own. He saw a battlefield with 2 suns, a woman crying in a black uniform, a gate made of fire. He dropped to his knees. Ilara ran in, hearing the noise. John! He looked up, sweating. Something's inside me, a voice. And memories I never lived. Ilara helped him up. You're linked to the vault now. All of you revived are. These are echoes, the dead trying to speak. What do they want? To be remembered. Dravek called them back to the control room. I found something, a vault older than the others. Hidden on a dead planet called Zarian 6, no life signs. No visitors, no records. Coordinates? Ilara asked. Sending now. The screen blinked. Coordinates locked in. Ilara turned to her team. We leave now. As they prepared to leave, a message crackled through the radio. A voice. Robotic. Cold. You opened the door, Ilara. Now face what lies behind it. It was Vex. John grabbed the radio mic. We're not afraid of you. Vex laughed softly. You should be. The truth you chase will burn galaxies. Their ship jumped into hyperspace. Destination Xerion-6. A planet wiped out centuries ago by unknown weapons. Blacklisted by every major species. Considered cursed. As they landed, thick dust filled the sky, mountains of bones. No cities, no green dot, just death. The vault was beneath the surface, hidden under an old temple structure. Alara led the way. Inside, they found walls made of black crystal. The air was cold, but breatable. Symbols covered every inch, and unlike the first vault, this one whispered constantly, "Return what was taken. Memory is not yours." Who speaks for the forgotten? John looked around. This place feels angry. Selm walked slowly, hand on the wall. This one holds pain, war, betrayal. At the center of the vault, they found 7 capsules. Each held a body, perfectly preserved. One was human. Another was Thalax. The others were unknown species. Alara stepped closer. They were leaders. From 7 worlds. I think this was a council. Long before any of our histories began. She placed her hand on a control panel. Capsules opened. Gas hissed. One of the bodies moved. The revived human inside gasped, eyes wide. He looked at Alara, confused. Who are you? I'm Alara. I brought you back. Then, it has begun again. What began? The war we were made to forget. Suddenly, the others began to wake too. Each one spoke in a different language, but all had one message. The silence is broken. The memories are free. Then the vault shook violently. An explosion. Dust fell from the ceiling. A voice echoed through the halls. You went too far, Doctor. Vex had arrived. He entered with a new weapon charged with void energy. Dangerous. Illegal. I warned you. Now, I end this. John stepped forward. You're too late, Vex fired. The blast hit John square in the chest. He fell. Alara screamed. She ran to him. His pulse was fading. Not again. She wouldn't lose him again. She injected a new Formula 1 she had developed from the vault memory codes. John gasped. Then something strange happened. His body glowed blue. His eyes shone with light. He stood up. Not just alive. Changed. He turned to Vex. You should not have come here. John moved faster than human. He struck Vex with a force that sent him flying into the wall. Sparks flew. Vex stood up, damaged, but he smiled. You don't know what you're becoming, soldier. And then, he vanished, back in the vault. The revived council members stood together. They looked at Alara. You opened the past, one said. Now you must protect the future, Alara nodded. I will. Then take this. One of them handed her a crystal disc. It glowed with blue light. It holds the truth about the First War. The one that reset the galaxy. Use it, share it, or hide it, but know this: others will come for it. She took it carefully. Then the vault went dark. The council bodies fell still, but the disc remained, warm in her hand. They returned to the ship. John was quiet, watching his hands. I don't feel normal anymore, he said. You're not. Alara said, you're more. Selm added, maybe this is what the galaxy needs. Not more weapons, but people who remember. Alara placed the disc in her safe. We'll go to the next vault soon. But first, we rest. In a far corner of space, Vex returned to his secret base. He looked at his own reflection. His skin flickered. His eyes changed colors. He whispered, what did she do to him? Then he looked at the chip he stole during the fight. It showed. I am a GE, a human baby. DNA marked Project Echo. Vex stared at it. For the first time in his existence, he felt fear. The galaxy was no longer quiet. Alara Voss's message had echoed across thousands of star systems. Every race, every government, every citizen had heard the truth. Now, some called her a hero, others a criminal, but she had no time to care, because the next vault had been found. And it was not on any map. 2 days later, the ship Lucent Star floated near a system that wasn't supposed to exist. No records. No name, only a set of broken coordinates found deep in the ancient crystal disk. Commander Seln checked the scanners. There's a planet, covered in storms. No known entry logs, no beacons. Just hidden. John stared at the swirling clouds. Through the window. How can a planet be invisible? Ilara stood slowly. Maybe someone didn't want it found. They entered the atmosphere of the planet. Everything shook. Violent winds. Electric clouds, gravity spikes. John gripped the controls. His hands were calm, but his eyes glowed faintly. He was different. Now stronger, faster, smarter. And yet, he still felt like himself. Mostly, we're landing. I think, he said. Seln chuckled dryly. Or crashing in style. The ship touched down hard. Metal groaned. Dust filled the air, but they survived. The world around them was gray. Not dead, not alive, just waiting. Giant black stones stood in strange patterns, like ancient roads, or ruins. And far in the distance, one mountain stood taller than the rest. A black light glowed from the top. Elara pointed. That's it, the vault is there. They started walking. The closer they got, the heavier the air became. Like time itself was pressing against them. On the way, they saw strange machines, half buried in the ground. Some looked human. Others the IDN single quotes. John touched one. He saw a flash of memory, a battle long ago. Fire, screaming, ships falling from the sky. This planet saw war, he said. But no record of any war here exists, Ilara replied. Which means someone erased it. Some looked at the machines. Or buried it with the planet itself. At the base of the mountain, they found a doorway carved into stone, but it wasn't locked. Just waiting. Ilara stepped in first. Inside. The walls were made of a smooth silver metal. Symbols glowed faintly, and then the lights turned on by themselves. The vault was awake. In the central chamber, a large sphere hovered in the air. Slowly spinning. It pulsed when Ilara entered. She stepped forward. Suddenly, her hand moved on its own. Like something guided her, she touched the sphere. It opened. A voice spoke from everywhere and nowhere. Identify. Ilara replied without thinking. Dr. Ilara Vus, medic, human. The voice paused. Then answered. Accepted. Welcome, child of memory. John frowned. What did it call you? Ilara shook her head. I don't know. The sphere projected. A hologram, a map of the galaxy. But not as it is today. As it was 10,000 years ago. Planets had different names. Borders were unfamiliar. Massive empires long forgotten filled the stars. But one thing stood out. A symbol. A spiral sun. Say Lane whispered. That's the mark from your disk. The sphere spoke again. Do you wish to restore what was lost? Ilara nodded slowly. Yes. Then listen. The vault told a story. A long time ago, 7 civilizations ruled the galaxy together in peace. Each held a piece of knowledge, a gift. One created healing, another time travel, another memory control, but one created resurrection. This power caused fear. Some called it unnatural. Others saw it as salvation. War broke out between the 7. Worlds were destroyed. In the end, the leaders chose to erase themselves from history. They built vaults to protect what they knew, and trusted the future to decide if it was ever needed. Again. John looked around. Why revive this now? The sphere replied, because memory returned, through you. It showed an image of John. Project Echo was not the first, but it was the first to work. You are the key to what was lost. John. Step back. I didn't ask for this. Neither did we, the vault replied. But time does not ask permission. Suddenly the vault shook, the lights dimmed. Ilara turned. Someone's here, Seln checked his scanner. Ship incoming. No ID, fast approach. John clenched his fists. Vex. Outside, the black ship landed near Lucent Star. From the smoke, Vex walked out, but this time, he wasn't alone. Behind him were 5 figures. All wore armor. All had glowing red eyes. Ilara's face went pale. They're revived. John looked at her. Like me? She nodded, but controlled, not free. Vex entered the vault calmly. Nice place. Thought I'd drop by. John stepped forward. You're not welcome. Relax, soldier, Vex said. I'm not here to fight. He looked at Ilara. I'm here to offer you a deal. Seln raised an eyebrow. A deal? Join us. Share the knowledge. We don't have to be enemies. Ilara laughed bitterly. You tried to kill us. I tried to stop chaos, Vex replied. But now, the fire's already burning. The galaxy is asking questions. If we work together, we can shape the answers. Ilara stepped closer. You don't care about answers. You care about control. Vex's smile faded. That's a shame. You could have been great. He raised his hand. The armored revivants moved forward. Take the vault core. Leave the rest. John jumped into action, faster than before. He tackled 2 enemies at once. Seln fired his blaster at the ceiling, collapsing a side tunnel. Ilara grabbed the vault sphere. It shrank down into a small silver cube. She ran. The battle was short, but intense. John's strength was growing. But so was the pain. Every hit made his body spark with energy. Like something inside was trying to break out. He held his head. Screamed. Yell. Ilara turned back. John! He looked at her, eyes fully glowing now. I can't control it. Vex laughed. Told you. He's not stable. Ilara ran to John. Listen to me. You are not them. You are you. Don't lose that. He dropped to his knees. Then he focused. The glow faded slightly. He stood. Let's go. They escaped through a hidden tunnel shown by the vault. Outside, their ship was damaged, but the vault cube was safe, and John was still standing. Back in space, they jumped away before Vex could follow. Inside the ship, silence filled the air. Again. John leaned against the wall. I was going to kill them all. I could feel it. Ilara sat next to him. But you didn't. I'm scared of what I'm becoming. She looked at him softly. Then stay close to those who remind you who you are. He nodded. Say Lane entered with a datapad. We've received a message. From who? Everyone. He showed the screen. Thousands of signals, people across the galaxy. Scientists. Journalists. Civilians. Even ex-soldiers. They're asking for more. They want the truth. They want the next vault. Ilara smiled. Then we give it to them. She looked at John. Ready? He stood up slowly. Eyes. Come. Let's find out who I really am. Space was silent again. But inside Lucent Star, minds were loud. Dr. Ilara Voss stared at the vault cube resting in her palm. So much knowledge. Sealed inside this little silver box. Too dangerous to open blindly. Too valuable to leave closed. And now, half the galaxy was listening. John Marek sat alone in the observation deck. Stars drifted past like dust. He didn't blink, didn't speak. He was remembering things that didn't belong to him. Images, wars, other planets, weapons, voices calling names he didn't know. And worst of all, memories of people he had never met. People who had died thousands of years ago. He looked at his hand. Who am I now? Commander Seln entered quietly. You okay? John didn't answer right away. Do you know what it's like to remember a battle that ended before your species even learned fire? Seln sat beside him. No, but I know what it's like to carry something too big for your own shoulders. John gave a small smile. That's what this feels like. Like I'm made of too many pieces. In the control room, Ilara received a message, encrypted. Untraceable. It came from someone calling themselves the witness. The message read, "You carry the seed of a forgotten war. If you want to understand what's inside that vault, come to Station Varellus 9. But come alone." She frowned. Another trap? Or a true answer? She decided to take the risk. She left John and Selm aboard the ship. Took a shuttle alone. Virell US-9 was an abandoned science station orbiting a red dwarf star, once owned by the Galactic Science Authority. Now lost and forgotten. The airlock creaked open, lights flickered, and then a voice spoke from the darkness. "Ilara Voss, just like your mother." She froze. "Who are you?" A figure stepped into the light. An old woman, with sharp eyes, worn clothes, and a strange mechanical brace around her neck. "My name doesn't matter. But once, I worked with your mother on Project Echo." Ilara's heart pounded. "You knew her?" "I trained her," the woman said. "She was one of the first to believe that memory could live beyond death." "Why didn't anyone tell me this before?" "Because your mother died in a lab fire, but not by accident. Someone wanted to bury her work, and her. She created Project Echo. She started it, but they took it from her, changed it, weaponized it." Ilara sat down stunned. "She died trying to protect memory. And now you continue her work with a living result." The woman walked to a large container. "This is a decoder core. It can safely open the vault cube without triggering any defenses." She handed Ilara a data chip. "Take it. But be careful. The knowledge inside that cube will change John again. And maybe not for the better." Ilara hesitated. "What will happen to him?" "He will remember who he was before he was ever born." "You mean the ancient soul inside him?" "Yes," she nodded. "And if that soul is stronger than John's, you may lose him." Ilara returned to the ship with the chip. John stood waiting. "Did you find what you needed?" She looked at him with concern. "Yes, but I'm afraid of what it might do to you." "It's already inside me," he said. "Might as well hear it speak." They plugged the vault cube into the decoder core. The lights dimmed. And then memories exploded into the room. John collapsed to the floor. He saw flames, steel cities, beings made of light and shadow. He stood in battles not fought for millennia. He spoke in languages he didn't know, new codes, secrets, plans. Then he saw a face, a warrior, tall, golden armor, a scar across his eye, and he heard a name, Rallin. "That's who I was," John whispered. "Rallin, general of the last war." Selm looked shocked. "That name was in the first vault, a warrior who disappeared. They said his soul vanished with the fall of the spiral sun." John looked at Ilara, his eyes glowing again. "I'm not just John, I'm also him. But you're not just him either," Ilara said. "You're both, and more." John touched his head. "It hurts. So many thoughts, so many lives. Can you control it?" Selm asked. John breathed slowly. "I think so. For now." That night, Ilara watched recordings of her mother. One clip showed a woman speaking to the camera. "If someone is watching this, it means I failed." Her mother looked tired but proud. "I tried to give humanity a gift. Not to control the past but to learn from it. Ilara, if you're seeing this, then you found the key." Ilara's hand shook. Her mother's final words echoed. "Be strong, but be kind. Memory is power, but it must always serve life." Suddenly, the ship shook. A missile hit the outer shield. Alarms blared. Selm ran to the control deck. "Incoming ship." "It's Vex again." John stood up, his energy pulsing like lightning under his skin. "Then let's end this." They launched into space, dodging enemy fire. John connected with the vault again, using its knowledge. "There's a pulse weapon, old tech. I can reroute our reactor to fire it. Will it work?" Ilara asked. It will if I become Rallin long enough to remember how. She stared at him. Don't lose yourself. He gave a faint smile. Not when you're here. John walked to the core chamber. His hands moved with speed typing codes, rerouting. Energy.say lane kept the ship flying. Ilara watched the power levels climb. 3, 2, 1. Fire! A beam of white light hit Vex's ship. Its shields shattered. Sparks flew. Then silence. Vex's ship drifted. Disabled, they didn't destroy him, but they won. For now, after the battle, John sat quietly. Ilara approached. You okay? I remember who I was now, he said. Rallin was a warrior, a killer, a leader. But you're not just Rallin. He looked at her. No, I'm also John, a soldier who saved lives. And someone who fell in love with a medic who wouldn't give up. Ilara blushed lightly. We're not done yet. John nodded. There's one vault left, isn't there? She showed him the map. The last one. The Heart Vault. The one that holds the true purpose behind all resurrection. Seln entered. Then let's go finish this. As the ship turned toward the unknown star, Ilara looked at the stars and whispered, Mom, I'm almost there. And beside her, John Rallin, whatever he had become, smiled. Because he finally knew who he was. Space was silent again. But inside Lucent Star, minds were loud. Dr. Ilara Voss stared at the vault cube resting in her palm. So much knowledge sealed inside this little silver box. Too dangerous to open blindly, too valuable to leave closed. And now, half the galaxy was listening. John Marek sat alone in the observation deck. Stars drifted past like dust. He didn't blink, didn't speak. He was remembering things that didn't belong to him. Images, wars, other planets, weapons, voices calling names he didn't know. And worst of all, memories of people he had never met. People who had died thousands of years ago. He looked at his hand. Who am I now? Commander Seln entered quietly. You okay? John didn't answer right away. Do you know what it's like to remember a battle that ended before your species even learned fire? Seln sat beside him. No, but I know what it's like to carry something too big for your own shoulders. John gave a small smile. That's what this feels like. Like I'm made of too many pieces. In the control room, Ilara received a message. Encrypted. Untraceable. It came from someone calling themselves the witness. The message read, You carry the seed of a forgotten war. If you want to understand what's inside that vault, come to Station Varelis 9, but come alone. She frowned. Another trap, or a true answer. She decided to take the risk. She left John and Seln aboard the ship. Took a shuttle alone. Virellus-9 was an abandoned science station orbiting a red dwarf star, once owned by the Galactic Science Authority. Now lost and forgotten. The airlock creaked open, lights flickered, and then a voice spoke from the darkness. Ilara Voss, just like your mother. She froze. Who are you? A figure stepped into the light. An old woman, with sharp eyes, worn clothes, and a strange mechanical brace around her neck. My name doesn't matter. But once, I worked with your mother. On Project Echo. Ilara's heart pounded. You knew her? I trained her, the woman said. She was one of the first to believe that memory could live beyond death. Why didn't anyone tell me this before? Because your mother died in a lab fire, but not by accident. Someone wanted to bury her work, and her. She created Project Echo. She started it, but they took it from her, changed it, weaponized it. Ilara sat down stunned. She died trying to protect memory. And now you continue her work with a living result. The woman walked to a large container. This is a decoder core. It can safely open the vault cube without triggering any defenses. She handed Ilara a data chip. Take it. But be careful. The knowledge inside that cube will change John again. And maybe not for the better. Ilara hesitated. What will happen to him? He will remember who he was before he was ever born. You mean the ancient soul inside him? Yes, she nodded. And if that soul is stronger than John's, you may lose him. Ilara returned to the ship with the chip. Stood waiting. Did you find what you needed? She looked at him with concern. Yes, but I'm afraid of what it might do to you. It's already inside me, he said. Might as well hear it speak. They plugged the vault cube into the decoder core. The lights dimmed dot, and then memories exploded into the room. John collapsed to the floor. He saw flames. Steel cities. Beings made of light and shadow. He stood in battles not fought for millennia. He spoke in languages he didn't know. New codes. Secrets. Plans. Then he saw a face. A warrior. Tall. Golden armor. A scar across his eye, and he heard. A name, Rallan. That's who I was, John whispered. Rallan. General of the last war. Seln looked shocked. That name was in the first vault, a warrior who disappeared. They said his soul vanished with the fall of the spiral sun. John looked at Ilara, his eyes glowing again. I'm not just John. I'm also him. But you're not just him either, Ilara said. You're both, and more. John touched his head. It hurts. So many thoughts, so many lives. Can you control it? Seln asked. John breathed slowly. I think so. For now. That night, Ilara watched recordings of her mother. One clip showed a woman speaking to the camera. If someone is watching this, it means I failed. Her mother looked tired, but proud. I tried to give humanity a gift. Not to control the past, but to learn from it. Ilara, if you're seeing this, then you found the key. Ilara's hand shook. Her mother's final words echoed. Be strong, but be kind. Memory is power, but it must always serve life. Suddenly, the ship shook. A missile hit the outer shield. Alarms blared. Seln ran to the control deck. Incoming ship. It's Vex again. John stood up, his energy pulsing like lightning under his skin. Then let's end this. They launched into space, dodging enemy fire. John connected with the vault again, using its knowledge. There's a pulse weapon, old tech. I can reroute our reactor to fire it. Will it work? Ilara asked. It will if I become Rallan long enough to remember how. She stared at him. Don't lose yourself. He gave a faint smile. Not when you're here. John walked to the core chamber. His hands moved with speed typing codes, rerouting. Energy.say lane kept the ship flying. Ilara watched the power levels climb. 3, 2, 1. Fire. A beam of white light hit Vex's ship. Its shields shattered. Sparks flew. Then silence. Vex's ship drifted. Disabled. They didn't destroy him, but they won. For now, after the battle, John sat quietly. Ilara approached. You okay? I remember who I was now, he said. Rallan was a warrior, a killer, a leader. But you're not just Rallan. He looked at her. No, I'm also John, a soldier who saved lives. And someone who fell in love with a medic who wouldn't give up. Ilara blushed lightly. We're not done yet. John nodded. There's one vault left, isn't there? She showed him the map. The last one. The Heart Vault, the one that holds the true purpose behind all resurrection. Seln entered. Then let's go finish this. As the ship turned toward the unknown star, Ilara looked at the stars and whispered, Mom, I'm almost there. And beside her, John Rallan, whatever he had become, smiled because he finally knew who he was. The stars looked older now. Lucent Star glided through deep space, past dead systems and forgotten moons. There was no sound, only the hum of power inside the vault cube, growing louder the closer they got. Ilara Vus, John Marek, and Commander Selm stood quietly, staring at the final destination. a hollow star, pulsing with blue light. And orbiting it, a structure bigger than Earth, not a planet, not a ship, a vault. Made from memory itself. John's hands trembled slightly. Inside him, the warrior Rowland stirred, memories like fire under his skin. This is where it all ends, he said. Ilara nodded. And where everything began. The ship landed on a wide silver platform. No guards. No security. No signs of life. Only a glowing path leading inside. The three walked in silence. Sound looked around. No traps, no puzzles. John replied, "It doesn't need defenses. Anyone who gets here is already part of the story." They reached a giant door made of crystal and gold. As John approached, it opened without touch. A voice echoed, "Welcome home, Rowland." Inside, the vault's core chamber stretched like a cathedral, walls covered in light streams, each one filled with moving memories, millions of lives, billions of voices, generations long forgotten. Ilara gasped. "This is everyone, the memory network," John whispered. "The place where all minds once connected before death." A figure appeared, made of glowing energy. Female, tall, and calm. "I am the archivist, guardian of the first light." "Why are we here?" Ilara asked. "To decide what happens next." The archivist raised her hand. A hologram formed, a timeline. It showed the rise and fall of 7 ancient civilizations, their unity, their fear, the war, and then Rowland. "He refused to use the resurrection power to control others," she said. "He led a rebellion against his own kind." John closed his eyes. "I remember it now. You died protecting the last memory core," the archivist said. "You chose to erase yourself from time to stop the cycle." "But why bring it back now?" Ilara asked. The archivist looked at her. "Because life has forgotten how to feel. Resurrection without memory is empty, but you restored the meaning." The core of the vault began to hum. "You have a choice," the archivist said. "You may release the full resurrection code to the galaxy, give everyone the power to return, or destroy it forever." Ilara stepped back. "That's too much power." John spoke slowly. "Imagine no more death, no more loss." "But imagine dictators bringing back armies," Sound warned. "No peace, just recycled war." They all fell silent. It was the ultimate choice. A gift or a curse. Suddenly, alarms blared. An explosion rocked the chamber. Vex had arrived. His ship pierced the vault wall. Soldiers storming in. Vex stepped forward, clapping slowly. "Beautiful place. Thought I'd stop by." "You never give up," Ilara hissed. "This place is too valuable to leave in your hands," Vex said. "So I'll take it." John stepped between them. His body pulsed with golden light. "You'll have to go through me." "I hoped you'd say that," Vex smirked. He activated his own core, powered by stolen tech. Dark red lightning danced around him. The two charged. Light versus shadow. Past versus future. The battle shook the chamber. Memory streams cracked. Echoes screamed. John fought not just with his fists, but with memories. He remembered moves from warriors long gone. He saw attacks before they came, like déjà vu in real time. Vex struck hard, but John struck with purpose. At last, John stood over him. "It's over." Vex laughed through blood. "You think you're a hero, but you'll become just like me." John paused, then turned away. "No, I remember who I am." Vex was taken away by Seiling. Elar. A approached the vault core. It pulsed, waiting for her choice. Looked at her. "You don't have to do this alone." She held his hand. "Let's decide together." They placed the vault cube into the final slot. The archivist asked again, "What is your choice?" Ilara took a breath. "Not full resurrection. Not full erasure." "Then what?" the archivist asked. She smiled softly. "Let the memories live, but not the bodies." Create a place where people can visit the stories of those lost. A memory. Library, to feel, to learn, to remember. John added, let the dead rest, but let their wisdom guide the living. The vault glowed, choice accepted. The memory network surged. Across the galaxy, new beacons lit up planets once lost. To war. Now pulsed with peaceful light. Tombs became libraries. Graveyards became temples of learning. People from all species came to listen, not conquer. Months later, Ilara stood on a balcony overlooking Earth's restored memory archive. Children walked. Inside, parents watched ancient lives play out in light and color. John stood beside her. You changed everything, he said. She smiled. We did. What now? Now we live. Selm joined them, holding 2 cups of synth coffee. So, no more vaults to chase? Not for a while, Ilara grinned. Good, Selm said, because I'm tired of nearly dying every week. They all laughed. As the sun rose over a new world of peace and memory. A single line appeared on the screen inside the last vault. The galaxy laughed at a human medic. Until she healed its soul. The end.